Let's pour some swim baits. All right, so welcome back everybody to the world's worst fishing. I'm Chris Jones, and really exciting video today. So as you probably saw a few weeks ago, Angling AI and I launched a new hand pour swim bait mold. CNC aluminum, open top pour swim bait mold. The video did really well, so thank you to everybody who watched it and shared it, and hopefully liked it. The bait's been getting really great reception from the bait community, and I'm so happy to have been a part of that. So we're going to revisit that mold today, but we're going to revisit it on a more professional level, I guess you could say. So we're going to be pouring on an electric heat griddle. So one of the keys to pouring in aluminum, and open pouring in aluminum, is the molds need to be really hot. If you think about an aluminum injection mold, when you press that injector, the plastic's filling the entire mold very quickly. The edges of the plastic that are touching that aluminum don't really have time to cool down. You know, aluminum expels heat really fast, okay? So whenever you're pouring a little bit at a time, that outer layer of that plastic will cool down significantly more than the interior. And even using a heat gun to tack up your layers, it's really prone to cold cracking. We don't want cold cracks. So sort of the remedy to this is to get the molds basically up to the temperature of your plastic and pour the whole mess hot all together. It streamlines the process. No cold cracking. Your laminates are never going to peel apart. They're never going to delaminate. And you know, when the molds are hot, the plastic just pours so well, they almost pour themselves. So that's what we're going to do. Thanks so much to Richard Ray. He kind of, you know, he basically kind of encouraged me to get an electric heat source. I'd seen it a few times here and there, but now that we kind of gotten pretty serious about pouring in aluminum, Richard said, "Hey, it's time to do it." So if you have not seen Raw Baits, R-A-W, Raw Baits, check him out on Instagram. He's a bait genius. That's all I can say. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at what we've got. Okay, so here's our setup. So I have 6 of our new hand pour swim bait mold, and you'll see this Presto electric griddle. You can buy this at Walmart pretty much for the same price on the same shelf as we do our Presto cooking pots whenever we want to heat up large quantities of plastic without the negative effects of a microwave. You know, let's say I want to run a gallon of plastic in just one color. Cooking pot's all you need. $25 from Walmart. Same with this electric griddle here. You can see the plugs over here, and it has a temperature gauge. Don't really need to see that, but you just turn it to whatever you want. I like to set it to about 350. Kind of really the same temperature as your plastic. I don't know if it technically gets the molds 350, but that's worked for me as far as being able to pour clean baits, clean laminates, no cold cracks. Everything's bonded really well together. You don't need a heat gun. There are no extra steps. You pour the plastic in, you pour the next layer, and you're done. So again, there she is right there. This is the 6-inch Angling AI hand pour swim bait. Josh and I have been discussing other sizes, so that is in the works. Thank you to everybody who commented about what sizes you would like to see this mold in and or bait, depending on if you're a bait maker or somebody that might want to use the baits from the molds. All your input is very much appreciated. So anyway, I have the molds here. So what we're going to do is we're going to clamp them with our usual clamps. Okay, just like that. Actually, we'll straighten them out a bit. Come on, baby. All right. Actually, I guess I could get the camera a little closer to the action, huh? Yeah, let me scooch some of this out of the way. So anyway, you know, you can use your your regular clamps. Now these molds do get hot, so I guess there's always a chance of the clamps here melting on the edge, but so far that hasn't happened to me. So hopefully it doesn't happen on the video. Now I'm just going to turn this up to 350, and you know, it really doesn't take long, guys. I have found that in less than 10 minutes you can't even touch the molds. So again, we're going to be doing a sexy shad, so I'm going to get our plastic cooked up, and then I will meet you right back. Alright, so now we're going to build the bottom color, and the bottom color is just this right here. Solar Colored Dust Chameleon Pigment Green Gold Red. I absolutely love this powder. It is a killer rainbow trout bottom color as well. Alright, so again, key to a good swim bait, at least these kind of natural shaddy colors, is to make it very iridescent and see-through. I'm not adding very much of that stuff at all. Like, that's it. You know, you almost want the thing to look like a diamond, just see-through but reflects a lot of cool light. So there again, not adding a lot. Not adding a lot of that at all. And as you can see, that's still very see-through. That's good. That's what I want. That's what I want a lot. So anyway, that plastic right there is smoking hot. Yeah, 340 degrees. Alright, so that's ready to pour. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to try to do this around the camera as best as possible. So again, I'm going to zoom in a little close on the first mold here. That hook slot, I want to pour just to above that hook slot, okay? So here we go. And I mean just right above that hook slot. That will give me exactly the laminate that I want, okay? You can see that bottom color didn't go too far down, because what happens with these hot molds is that plastic is just going to keep running, right? You're not going to be used to it at first, and it will slide all the way down the tail if you're not careful. So that right there is absolutely right where we want it, okay? So now we're going to do the next one. And what's cool about whenever you have the molds kind of lined up on each other like this is that you can kind of rest the cup on the mold next to it and try to pour as cleanly as possible, which I'm not the cleanest, but the baits come out good, so you know. But yeah, that's it right there. And the beauty of it is that hot mold will keep that plastic right at the temperature that it needs to be to form an even laminate that does not cold crack and has a super strong bond. I literally don't need to do anything else except pour it. No torch afterwards, no heat gun, no nothing. Alright, and so now the middle vein color, you know, in Sexy Shad it's usually sort of a yellowish chartreuse, but I like to use this little gold powder. And one good thing about using powders, whenever you're doing these kind of really see-through light colors, if you can use all powders, do it, because they don't bleed at all. You know, if I was using even what I would consider non-bleeding pigments, you know, whenever you have such see-through white pearl kind of colors, sometimes you'll see a little bit of bleed. These powders really don't bleed. But I'm using very small amounts. Very, very, very small. Like, you almost want this gold line to barely even be noticeable. And that's about right. Yep, in fact, I'm not adding any more. Good thing about pouring these swim baits this way is that you don't use up your colors and pigments very quickly. Just a smidge here and there, here and there, here and there. Yeah, that's about right. I got a rogue piece of glitter in there. I thought I cleaned these cups really well. Apparently not. Okay, so now we have our gold, and yeah, again, I think I'm going to just try to get close to the first mold here. You know, we just want to pour just our little vein color, like we have done on here a bunch of times, pouring in silicone. Okay, so again, just kind of want to hold it there, nice and steady. And I'm just going to pour it till it is just barely going to go over that end. You can see it's still flowing there. Might need to add a little bit more, but you want to try not to add more if you don't have to. Yeah, let's see if that'll go. Yeah, there it goes. Yep, it just flowed over that back part. So, same for the next mold over. We'll stop it there. And so on, so on. Alright, so now we're going to build the top color. And again, this is dead-on plastics. All we use in my shop. Dead-on plastics, black bucket, craw tube blend. It's a nice firm plastisol, works really good for these larger baits. And just to keep it simple, we're going to use just pearl powder, blue pearl. This is Hobby Lobby special, okay? And as usual, not a lot of it. Now you can cut this with some highlight. If you want to darken it, add like 1 drop of maybe phthalo blue or something like that. But this kind of just has a nice little aqua blue. It's very turquoise-ish. Turquoise-ish? Is that a word? How do you say that? Turquoise-ish? Turquoise-ish. Turquoise-ish. Yeah, that's it. That's all we're doing. Keeping it simple and showing you how well some colors go together. So let's take it back over to the molds and pour the final layer. Alright, and there we have them kind of halfway done. We have our gold layers on. A little bubble popped up right there, so I actually probably will bust out the heat gun for that. Sometimes the mold's so hot, the plastic gets so hot, it kind of pops the bubble by itself. But anyway, that's what we're going to do, and now we're going to fill it with the top blue color. Alright, so now we're going to pour this top blue color. Alright. Nice and slow. And the good thing about these molds being hot is that the plastic kind of just runs all the way down the mold on its own. You can basically just kind of hold it still in one place, and because the mold is so hot, it just practically fills itself. So we're just going to do that until the tail fills up. Thereabouts. Try not to overpour it. You know, some of these colors, because they're so see-through, you sometimes can't really tell when you've overpoured it. It'll just go right over the edges and you're like, oops. You know, it's kind of like trying to gauge, you know, pouring this thing with water. You know, how can you tell where the water is? So, but a little practice. That's all you need. So, yeah, see, I slightly overpoured that body there. So, oops. There again, I'm still new to pouring. Did our bug really just land on that mold? He's dead. You know, I'm still new to pouring this aluminum stuff myself with the heat source. So you can easily overpour mold. So anyway, this is the process. Just a nice, slow, continuous stream, and that's pretty much all you need. Okay, so everything is still cooling down. The molds are still absolutely way too hot to touch. You can see I've put one in the bath, and that's to kind of demonstrate how these molds cool and the effect that it has on the finished product. So the ones up here that I'm letting cool slowly, naturally, they're going to have less draw in the top and less dimple down in the tail. It's really when your mold cools quickly that you get a lot of draw in, so that you kind of get a little valley in the top, and then you get a dimple in the tail. Now, you know, that's not make or break necessarily. You want to try to avoid it. You know, if you're just making baits for yourself, what do you care that there's a dimple in the tail? However, if you just really let them cool down slowly, you'll have less of a severe draw in from the plastic. Okay. See how we did? There you go. Look at that. You can see that gold, faint gold line through it. Beautiful, beautiful. You know, the whole thing's almost like a see-through mirage. And that's what you want, honestly. So we're just going to kind of set that aside, let it kind of keep setting up in the mold there. You know, you can open these molds up and kind of leave the bait halfway in it, which to me is a good thing. Let's see if I can get this one open. They're still a little warm, so yeah, there we go. Beautiful. And I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, I would say the only way you can really mess it up is to get them too hot. And then you're flashing, and then if you've ever poured two colors together that are both super hot, they'll actually thermally mix. So you can have that happen here, to where that gold in the middle will mix in with the white bottom and mix into the top. So, you know, I would say you can actually get them too hot on the griddle and kind of mess up your lines a little bit. So, you know, that one may have to really pull on that one, but yeah. So that is kind of 101 pouring on a heat source, and there's a nice kind of different sexy shad color. So anyway, I'm gonna get all these out of the molds, put them in the bath, and then we're gonna work on a really cool concept, how I make my Tennessee shad. Alright, so now we're gonna get a little intricate, and I've got the molds at about 150 degrees, just kind of keeping them warm because I'm about to skin pour a little bit here. So, you know, a lot of shad species, they have a little dot kind of behind the gill. And I think it looks really natural whenever you actually pour that dot. So, that little teeny tiny dot is part of this skin pour here. So, this is what we're doing to all of these molds. Okay? And then we're actually going to skin pour over the dot with some gold. Okay? So, literally, just that little teeny tiny thing. And the reason why I wanted to get the molds hot ahead of time is so that these skins, especially these little dots, will really melt into the side of the bait, and it won't look like it's cold cracked. So again, you know, just a teeny tiny little dot kind of behind the gill plate there. Yeah, so you can see I accidentally messed it up, but I can just brush that extra dot out of the way. Or it could be a two-dotted shad, just whatever you want to do. Okay, so we have all of our molds dotted. And now, I like to just skin pour a little layer of gold. So, nothing more than this right here. I want to pour it down and cover that black dot. Okay? And the molds are nice and hot, so this plastic runs really well. Skin pours really well. Okay, and that's pretty much that. So I'm just going to do that to these molds here. All right. So again, just kind of skinning down the mold, covering that dot. Let it flow into the head a little bit. Back up the tail. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we're going to do that for all of the molds, of course. Okay, and just real quick, I'm going to try to pour these bellies for you. So again, just to the top of the hook slot. And this is just straight white pearl, nothing mixed in it, no highlights, no special chameleon color shift powders, just good old-fashioned white pearl. You can get white pearl mica powder from any bait supplier, pretty much. Alrighty. This is a really great color. So, if you have this mold at home or another aluminum mold, highly recommend playing around with some of the Tennessee shad colors and things like that. Tennessee shad, Arkansas shiner, gizzard shad colors. A lot of fun to play around with all these pearls and just see how realistic you can get the color. Those pearls really let you get those natural shiny shad colors. So thank God for mica powder, huh? Okay, so now we're going to top these off. That is Dead on Plastics brown, a little bit of brown pearl powder, and like 1 drop of black. It's just a really nice shade of brown. So without trying to mess this up, again, molds are hot. Just gonna try to pour a steady stream if we can. Still working on my control, trying to pour as steady as possible. Little by little. And even that may be slightly over poured. It's very, very tricky when the molds are hot because that plastic doesn't start cooling down right away. So you think you didn't over pour it, but then it creeps over the edge like it's doing. That's not too bad, but because the molds are hot, it will creep out more and more. So definitely still lots to learn here, but I wanted to show you guys, what I consider the best way to pour this mold. Oops. And that is hot. Hot is the key. So anyway, gonna cut the camera here and finish these out. Alright, just ran up to Moe's Southwest Grill, got me a burrito. Come back and the molds are just right. So let's see how we did. Look at that. Is that not cool? There it is. Tennessee shad. And what's cool is, that dot is perfectly melted into the skin. And that's just a testament to pouring on the griddle like that. So, yeah, there's one. Let's just kind of look at another one real quick. Oh, that one wants to come off that way. Yeah. Is that not cool? 2 kind of skin pour ideas. You've got the dot, you've got the gold, and it's a very thin skin pour. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the rest of these out. We're gonna and then we're gonna kind of put a few eyes on these and on the sexy shads. Then we'll kind of lay them all out and wrap this video up. Hope you guys have enjoyed. All right, so on the Tennessee shads, we're gonna use these eyes right here. Ice. So this mold, you don't really need to clear dip it, and in fact I prefer not to clear dip it. Loctite Super Gel is all you need, oops, for your eyes. So that's it, just a touch of that. I like my pupils facing forward. There you go, just like that. Want it facing forward, of course. Upright, boom. I like the contrast. This eye wouldn't pop like that on a darker bait like that. So there we go, y'all. Meet you back when they're all done. And real quick, earlier I told you that cooling the mold down would create a dimple, or more of a dimple, and you can see the dimple there is a little more severe than the dimple there. That one's much more flat. So, yep, definitely want to let your molds cool down slowly. Definitely gives you a little bit better effect. Okay, well, there it is. There is everything from tonight. And I'm hoping that the colors on this are coming through, because I tell you, it is really, really spectacular. Just the lines and the way that the colors, being so light, kind of play off of one another. There's a little more contrast with the colors over here, but this over here, it's they look like blue and white little ice sculptures, and I really love that effect when talking about swim baits. So yeah, that's it, you guys. I mean, if if you want to get serious about hand pouring in aluminum, whether you're pouring a little creature bait, a worm, stick worm, swim bait, whatever it may be, there's a lot of open pour aluminum bait options. Just there wasn't a whole lot for swim baits, but you can pour almost anything in aluminum, and pouring it on a really hot surface like that definitely smooths all the edges, bonds all the layers. It kind of takes the labor out of those issues. The mold just pours itself. You're not worried about cold cracking. You're not sitting there blasting it with a torch or a heat gun. Like I said, it takes all the guesswork and the hard part out of that. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like what you see, these baits are for sale. 3 of these Tennessee shads are actually for somebody. So I have 9 baits left. So I have 3 Tennessee shads and then all 6 of the sexy shads. So I would prefer to sell them all at once, or maybe just sell the 6 sexy shads and then the 3 Tennessee shads. I don't want to really mix and match. But anyway, yeah, if you want those, hit me up, worldsworstfishing@gmail.com. I will also post these baits for sale on Instagram. I'll have to kind of wait till this video goes up to do that. But anyway, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. There it is. That is the best way to pour an aluminum open pour mold. Right there. Pour it on some sort of heat source, an electric griddle, cheap, effective, and you will absolutely love your results. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know which one was your favorite in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in.